Chapter 4. It was a cool Saturday evening in Halifax when Azalea pulled up outside your house, her headlights casting a warm glow on the sidewalk. The car slowed to a stop, and she rolled down the window with a soft smile. "Ready?" she asked, a hint of nervousness in her voice. Declan gave her a reassuring smile as he opened the passenger side door. "As ready as I'll ever be." Azalea was dressed casually, her favorite cozy but chic sweater paired with jeans, her pink hair falling in soft waves over her shoulders. The sight of her immediately eased the tension in Declan's chest. He was grateful she was taking the wheel tonight. As she drove toward his family's house, the familiar streets of Halifax passed by, the city lights sparkling in the evening air. He couldn't help but think how much this moment had changed since their first drive together, back when things had still felt new and uncertain. The moment where he whispered, "I love her." Now they were heading into the next chapter of their journey together. Azalea glanced over at him briefly. "I've technically met your parents before, but this still feels different, like it's real now." Declan grinned. "It is real, and they already like you. They just can't wait to get to know you better." The door opened before Declan could knock. His mom swept Azalea into a hug before she could even say hello. "Azalea, it's so good to see you again," his mom said warmly. Azalea laughed, some of her nerves melting away. "It's so good to see you too." Behind her, Declan's dad gave a quiet, approving nod as he shook her hand. "Glad you could make it tonight." As they stepped inside, Declan's chest tightened in the best way. His parents weren't just welcoming Azalea, they were embracing her. He stood back for a moment, watching her laughter blend with the cozy hum of the house, and thought about how far they'd come since the night on the Halifax waterfront. Dinner was warm and lively, filled with laughter and stories. Declan's mom shared a childhood story about him trying to skateboard in the living room, and Azalea dissolved into giggles. "You never told me about that," she teased, nudging Declan. Declan groaned. Some stories are better left untold. When Azalea talked about her latest art project, Declan's dad leaned forward with genuine interest. "That sounds incredible. You've got real talent, Azalea." Declan added a few light-hearted stories from Sobeys Mumford Road, making everyone laugh. Even though he was proud of his job, a quiet thought crept in. Sobeys was a good start, but one day he wanted more. A career in his field, something Azalea could be proud of too. After dinner, Declan and Azalea slipped outside to the porch. The night air was cool, carrying the scent of the sea. "You were amazing in there," Declan said, wrapping his arm around her shoulders. "Natural, like you've been part of this family forever." Azalea leaned into him, her voice gentle. "I was nervous, but they made me feel like I belonged. Thank you for bringing me here." "You do belong," Declan said, kissing her forehead. "With them, with me." For a quiet moment they stood there, hand in hand, both imagining a future where these dinners became tradition. The following weekend, it was Declan's turn to meet Azalea's family. This time, she picked him up in her car. Declan adjusted his seatbelt as she drove, trying to calm the nervous flutter in his stomach. "Okay," Azalea said, glancing at him with a wry smile. "My parents are really sweet, but my brothers," she let out a dramatic sigh. "They are loud and relentless. You'll understand as soon as you meet them." Declan raised an eyebrow, half amused, half worried. "Relentless, that sounds promising." "You'll see what I mean," she said, shaking her head fondly. "They love me, but they've been driving me crazy my whole life. I haven't lived with them since starting college, so brace yourself." Azalea's family home was alive with noise as soon as they stepped inside. Azalea's home, her older brother Jake shouted as he bounded down the stairs, loudly enough to make the walls shake. Azalea winced, but Declan just chuckled nervously, unsure what to expect. The younger brother, Max, was already lounging in the living room, scrolling through his phone. He barely looked up, but his lips quirked in an almost too cool for this smile. "Great," he said sarcastically. "The legend himself. Azalea's boyfriend, huh?" Azalea rolled her eyes, already used to their antics. "Please, just be nice for once," Azalea muttered, but it was clear from the way she was biting her lip that she'd been through this routine 1,000 times. Jake jumped in front of them, blocking the door. "Hold up, we need to evaluate this guy first. No one enters the inner sanctum without approval." He was grinning wildly, eyes twinkling with mischief. "So tell me, Declan, how much do you love my sister?" Azalea exasperated. "Jake, don't," Jake grinning. "How much?" Max from the couch. "If he says a lot, he's in trouble." "Jake, if you say it even a little bit, I'm giving you a hard time." Declan shot Azalea an apologetic look, then turned to her brothers. I love her more than I thought I would," he said cautiously, trying to gauge their reaction. Jake let out a dramatic sigh and stepped aside. Okay, fine, you're in. But remember, if she's ever upset, I'm holding you personally responsible." Azalea's cheeks flushed with embarrassment. "Jake, seriously." Max finally looked up from his phone. "He's not the problem, sis. You are." Azalea made a face at Max and looked at Declan, who was still trying to figure out what just happened. Dinner was loud. The brothers interrupted constantly, teasing Azalea and Declan at every turn. Jake mock serious. "So, Declan, do you think you're good enough for my sister?" Max smirking. "Yeah, like, do you have enough snacks on hand for a real relationship?" Azalea groaning. "Guys, seriously." Declan tried to keep his cool, smiling politely but internally cringing. "Well, I do love snacks, so I think we'll get along just fine." Then, Jake leaned in with a playful grin. "You know what's funny, though? We thought you were just another one of Azalea's study buddies. You know, the ones she claims are just friends, but now you've lasted longer than most." Max teasing. "And that means a lot to us. We've been measuring your survival rate. You're still alive, so that's progress." Azalea, giving them a pointed look. "I can't believe you guys." Declan laughing nervously. "Well, it's good to know I'm surviving. So far, so good, right?" Her mom quickly intervened, her voice kind but firm. Okay, that's enough. Let's give Declan a break. He's here to eat, not to be interrogated." She shot a playful look at the brothers, who shrugged. Azalea leaned toward Declan and whispered, "Welcome to the family." It was a chaotic, loud, but somehow endearing dinner, full of teasing and love. Through all of it, Declan couldn't help but laugh, even if it was at his own expense. It felt like the kind of love-filled mess he'd never seen before, but one he was beginning to enjoy. Back in the car, Azalea sighed dramatically as they pulled away from the house. "You survived. Barely." Declan laughed, squeezing her hand. "I'd face 100 brothers if it meant being with you." Her heart melted at that, and she kissed his cheek at a red light. As Declan watched the Halifax skyline approach, he imagined a future where both families sat around one table. Your calm parents beside her chaotic brothers, laughter and love mixing together. Two families, one life, one love. It was a chaotic, loud, but somehow endearing dinner, full of teasing and love. Through all of it, Declan couldn't help but laugh, even if it was at his own expense. It felt like the kind of love-filled mess he'd never seen before, but one he was beginning to enjoy.